Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live today. Just wanted to say a quick hi to you all and see what you guys are doing today. Are you enjoying your half term? It's almost half. Do you like cakes? Oh, I was thinking, what's this happening? Do you like cakes? So I hope all of you are having a good time and enjoying your half term. I can see you guys saying hello. So, hi everyone. Today we'll be doing poem comprehension. I know you all like comprehension, so we'll be doing something which is like a poem comprehension. And again, this is taken from 11 plus Help to Success book, comprehension book. You can buy this book from Amazon or from 11 plus Help to Success website. So these are the two places all of you can buy the book from. And we'll be doing a poem comprehension from the book. It's the paper 8. If you guys have the book, just try taking paper 8 from the book. And if you don't, then I can share the screen with you all in a minute. And let's start sharing the screen. I'm gonna be hiding myself. So this is, I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys. This is the poem comprehension we would be doing today. So it's paper 8. If you all have the book with you, we would be doing paper 8 in the comprehension. It's the good idea to buy the book from Amazon or from 11 plus Help to Success website. So all of you can go on the website and just take the digital copy of this book and it'll be good. I just want to remind you all, we'll be having another live which will be coming live for you all. That would be on Friday, and that would be about how to find how to find angles, and that is again taken from 11 plus Help to Success Maths topic wise book for 10 to 12 years, book 2. So if you guys have not bought these books yet, I would highly recommend you all to go and buy the books. It'll be good for you all to practice because these books are really good and they're selling a lot in Amazon and in 11 plus Help to Success website. So before you guys get started, you should all know about the comprehension. So I'll be just trying to read this comprehension for you all. Let's just do that so he can read it for you.
The Way Through the Woods by Rudyard Kipling. They shut the road through the woods 70 years ago. Weather and rain have undone it again. And now you would never know. There was once a road through the woods. Before they planted the trees, it is underneath the coppice and heath, and the thin anemones. Only the keeper sees that. Where the ringdove broods, and the badgers roll at ease, there was once a road through the woods. Yet if you enter the woods of a summer evening late, when the night air cools on the trout ringed pools where the otter whistles his mate, they fear not men in cantering through the misty solitude, because they see so few, you will hear the beat of a horse's feet, and the swish of a skirt in the dew, steadily cantering through the misty solitudes, as though they perfectly knew the old lost road through the woods. But there is no road through the woods.
So it's basically, what do you understand from the poem? Did you understand the way he read the poem? It's basically, it tells you about the woods. And this is a very popular poem. If you can search on the internet, also, you can have a look and you can see it. It's basically they're telling you that they shut the road through the woods. The road basically was shut, which went through the woods. Weather and rain have unknown again, and now you could never know. So basically, the weather is really bad, and the rain has done it again. So it's basically about a road in the woods. And how did that go? See, there were once a road through the woods. They said, one upon a time, there was a road through the woods. It is underneath the commons and health and thin. So there are some words you should know the meanings of if you guys don't know. So let's first go with the meaning of the word. What does
Anemones.
enemy anemones means? It basically
A
means,
plant of the buttercup family which typically has brightly colored flowers and deeply divided leaves.
so it's basically a type of plant family. It's type of plant. And then they say that there were ring dove birds. So what do you mean by
Broods.
Broods basically means again a family of birds or other young animals produced at a hatching or birth. So basically, when there were nothing in the nothing, there was no roads, nothing. So what happened there? And the riches roll at A's. There were once a road through the woods. They said one there was a road through the woods, and you used to go there. Yet if you enter the woods, if if you enter the woods of a summer evening late, when the night air cools on the
Trout ring pools.
so what does ring poles means? It's basically what does a pole mean? You should know what a pole means. A pole is a small area of water, typically on forms naturally. So obviously, if there's no way now, no way to go in. So this is what other things could have gone in, like the water, the woods, inside that. And this is all the poem is. So let's go with the questions now. So this is the poem what we have done. And remember that they are telling you you may wish to write 2 or 3 sentences to answer questions with more than 3 marks. You may also quote from the text to help your answer. This is something really important. When you're writing your answers, you should always write something which is included in the text. You should always refer to the text, what the text says. So the first question is really easy one. They're asking you what was shut. So you know that what was shut because you know that we all are talking about the roads and things like that. So they're asking you in the first one, what was shut? So you should know that what was shut. So what do you think is shut? It's basically the road through the woods. So you would say, what was shut? Oh, let me just take the road. So the first question is really easy. They're asking you what was shut. You read the poem and you know that the road was shut. And the second one they're asking you what was in the woods before the trees were planted. Again, this is the same one as your previous one. The road, yes, the road was shut. And the second question is the same one. It's similar to the first one. They're asking you what was shut what was in the woods before the trees were planted. You could say before the trees were planted there was a road in the woods. So again it's like you have to write there was a road. So don't just write road, you have to write the full sentence saying that before the trees were planted there was a road in the woods. So now you have a 3 marker question. 3 mark means you all have to think about 3 points in this one. So they're asking you, what does cantering means? So let's first find out what does this word means.
Cantering.
Cantering basically means a piece of horse or other things, but we don't need this one. Horse between
A pace of a horse or other quadruped between a trot and a gallop, with not less than 1 foot on the ground at any time. A
or
pace of a horse or other quadruped of a horse. Move at a canter in a particular direction.
it basically means a.
A ride on a horse at a canter.
So in this, you have to think about what does that mean. Catering is a word used in first you need to tell the meaning of the word. What is the meaning of the word? As I told you, means like riding a horse, like horse riding, and refers to a specific way of gait or way of moving for a horse. So first you have to write the meaning of the word. Catering is a term used in horse riding and it refers to a specific way of moving. That's your definition, it means, but remember that is 3 marks. So again, you have to think about 3 ways. So the next 3 ways are, they're asking you, there are 3 points explaining it. You have to explain these points in 3 ways now. So the first thing you could say that the points, what I would say you all should refer here. So I'll just write the points. The first one should be about the horse, should be the horse giant. Second point should be the smooth. I'll just explain you guys these points afterwards. I'm just writing down the points. It's smooth and rhythmic. And the third point is moderate speed. So let's go with these 3 points now. So looking at the first point, the first point is the horse giant. It means that catering is a 3 beat giant of a horse, typically faster than a trot but slower than a glips. It involves a series of footfalls where the horse's feet strike the ground in a particular pattern. And this is for the first point, you have to describe that. And the second one is smooth and rhythmic. So, smooth means that you know something which is very smooth, right? So, cantering is known for its smooth and rhythmic motions. The horse feet strike the ground in 3 beats with one hid leg and a diagonal front leg hitting the ground. And the third topic, what you're going to explain, would be about the moderate speed. You know that what does speed mean? Speed means like going slow or fast. But in this, you should say about the speed. Like catering is often associated with a moderate pace for horses. It is faster and more energetic than a trot, but slower than a glips. The speed of a tender can vary depending on the horse. So the speed of the horse varies. Some horses are fast and some horses are slow. So, again, these are the 3 things. You have to explain them in brief because to get all the 3 marks, you have to think about that. But why did they refer to this here? Because obviously, when the road was closed, it says here, if you look at the poem, let's go back to the poem. And you look here, it says that when the road was closed, this were there were only animals, and animals were there in the woods, and there was rain and all these things. See, the fear not men in the woods because they see so few, you will hear the beast of horses' feet. So this line tells you that if you are confused and you don't know why did they do it, it's here in this line. Because the road was closed and it was a forest, and the only things in the forest, when there was no road, you could not go in through the road. They were the only thing you could see, you could hear was, you will hear the beat of horses' feet. The only thing you could hear was the horses' feet. And this is what they are asking you in this question. So it's really important to refer to your text and from where did you take it. So everything you should refer, like in line this, it's mentioned about you could only hear the horses' feet and things like that. You could just mention that. So let's go to the next one. The next one is 4 marker now. And they're asking you the 3 animals Crippling writes about. So, what are the 3 animals He writes about one. You guys are aware that he was writing about the horses, so you could write about the horses. So let's write down name the first one. And remember to refer to the lines also, is the ring dove. So what does he write about this? They say the poem mentions the ring dove, the birds in the. Okay, let's write down that. So he writes about these now. After I read, I'll just in the words. Around its neck. So that's the first animal they're talking about. So let's read about this animal.
Ring dove equals that broods in the woods. The ring dove is characterized by a distinctive ring-shaped marking around.
So the ring dove was the first animal, and the second one. Let's. Oh, I need to stop that and have the. So that's the first one, and the second one they were mentioning about is the second one is the badgers. And what does they tell about them? They are basically a type of mammals. And what are they famous for? These mammals are known for their stone bodies, white marking. So let's read it for you guys now.
Badgers are nocturnal mammals known for their stout bodies, distinctive black and white marking, and digging abilities.
So first was the ring dove, second was the badgers, and the third one is the otter. And the third one is the otter is described as wrestling its mate. Otters are, they are basically, what do you say, like a semi aquatic mammals known for their streamlined bodies. So basically, they have a streamlined bodies, weird feet, and their playful nature. I'll write the playful nature here, and their playful nature. So the third animal, what was mentioned here is
Otter.
a,
Whistling its mate near the trout ring pools in the woods. Otters are semi aquatic mammals known for their streamlined bodies, webbed feet, and playful nature.
so that's the third animal. So there were three animals which you could see in the forest, and these are the three ones. So let's move on to the next one now. So the next one, they're asking you, what, why are the animals in the woods afraid of men? Why were they afraid of the men? Obviously, animals are always afraid of men in the wood, because in the forest or anywhere else, because they are scared that they might harm them, they might kill them. So you have to think about that. And again, as a three marker, get something, because they destroy them. Yeah, that's right, because they can destroy them. So obviously, in the forest, there are more animals and less human presence. So you would say that it's limited human presence, it's limited, it's limited human presence. That's the reason they are scared. And you got to explain that the poem mentions, you again have to think about the lines from the poem. That the poem mentions that the animals fear not men in the woods because they are so few. It implies that humans do not frequently visit the woods, resulting a minimum disturbance to the natural habitat. Because they don't want to destroy that, and they just avoid going there. So you could give a good explanation about that. And the second point you could talk about is the natural environment. In this one, you could just say that the woods are portrayed as a place where the animals can live undisturbed. Because there are some places where the animals can't stay, they are not there, they don't want, like we live in houses, and this is a place we feel safe, we can't live in forests and things like that. So the same applies to the animals. The animals are safe in the natural environment because there's no disturbance for them, and they feel safe there. So you could just describe these points in your words, and you could just describe these points in your words for the three marker. So the next one is, they are asking you, list three words that describe the moments in the poem. So what are the three words you have seen in the poem that tells you about this some moment, this describe about some moments are happening there? First, as you remember, we spoke about that is about the horses. So you could say that beat. The first is beat, and in this one you could refer to the beat of the horse's foot. So the poem refers to the first thing is, you could write the poem It always mentions the beat of the horse's feet. It's like someone rides through the misty. So this is the first thing you could write is about the beat. And the second thing is, doesn't let me do second. The second thing you could write is about the swish. And again, the poem mention, you can see that if you see the poem, if you guys have in front of you, the poem mentions, oh, I spelled it wrong, sorry. The swish of the skate in the dew as the moves horses move through the woods. And what does switch represents? Swish. It basically conveys a sound of motion. It tells you about the sound of motion of some something swifty moving through the air. And the third one you could write, because you could write is catering. And what does catering basically refers? It basically represents a smooth, uh, I don't know why it keeps changing the spellings. Refers to something a smooth and rhythmic movement of the horse, the way the horse is moving. When and speed. So let's say this one again for you guys who just joined us
The
now.
poem mentions the beat of the horse's feet as someone rides through the misty solitudes. To swish. The poem mentions the swish of the skirt in the dew as the horses moves through the woods. Swish conveys a sound of motion of something swifty moving through air. 3 cantering represents a smooth and rhythmic movement of a horse, combining grace and speed.
So these are the things. Yes, you can write about the winds also. That's right. The winds through the leaves. That's also right. These are some of the things which I've given you. You can also write your own answers with it. So let's move on to the next one now. This is for number 6.
Q7. Is this a rhyming poem? 3 marks.
So
Answer.
is this a
2. Who might they be?
oh,
Line.
is this a rhyme poem? So do you think it's a rhyme poem? I think so. Yes, it is a rhyme poem. It's not, sorry. It's not a rhyme poem. It's written in few verses. It looks like it's a like imaginary poem. It's not like a. Let's see what answers you guys are writing. No, it's not. It's not a rhyme poem. And the reason you could give is because if you look at the poem, oh, just a minute. It's not a. It's not a rhyme poem. And the reason you could give is it is written in free verse and not to a specific rhythm. It doesn't have a rhythm basically. Rhyme scheme or pattern. Pattern. And instead the poem relies on poetic devices such as imaginary repetition. And you could say the poem relies on. I think so. It's like imaginary because they are just imaginary things in the poem. Devices such as imaginary repetition, to create. So you could say this and this. I think so. The repetition spellings are wrong. So it's not a. Certainly will remember the text, repetition, rhythm to create as effects. So it's not a. And it also talks about nature basically. Yeah, you're right. And you could also remember to always give. I'm not doing that. You should always give something from the poem, some lines from the poem to support your answer. If you do that, you'll get more marks. So if you're referring to something in the poem like it's not a rhyme, it's not a rhyming poem and things like that. So you could also give some examples from the poem to support your answer because it's 3 marks. If something is 3 marks, you have to think about the poem, go back to the poem, think about the lines you could add from it, and just do it. And the next one is, who might they be? Line 1 and 6. So remember, in line 1, there is one. If you go back to line 1, and they say, if I just go back to the poem, because some of you don't have the poem in front of you, and we'll just see that who are they in the poem. I will see from how many ways they have used they. See here. They shut the roads through the woods. This is the first one they have referred they here. And let's see, there's any other they have done here. Mm, they. They fear not. This is another one. They fear not men, but woods. That's the second they have used. So what do you think they are referring to they here now? So I've given you two ways they are referring they to. In line 1 and in line 6 also they have they. So let's see line 6. I think so it's more than line 6. It's in the other line now, it's not 6. So they shut the roads through the woods. And here also they have, see, before they planted the trees. So this is another day. So all these days in the poem refer to something or the other. So what do you think they are referred to? So let's look at the first one. They shut the roads through the woods. So who are they referring to? They in this line is referred to the authorities or decision makers who closed off the roads. So basically, the first day, this one, it refers to the this one, this ray they refers to the authorities this ray one refers to the authorities or the decision makers who closed the road. That's your first day. So let's look at the second one, because these are the two one they're just asking. They're not asking the third one. So let's look at the second one now. Before they planted the trees. So what are they referring to here now? Who are the they in the second one? The first one is before they shut down the roads. This they is referred to the authorities and the decision makers who closed the road. And the second one is before they planted the trees. In this one, they refers to the individuals who planted the trees in the woods. So it's basically humans. What you guys are writing is that one. So you could write here, let's humans who planted the trees. So these are the both you got. So this is the second one. They shut the road through the woods. That's about the decision makers who closed the road before they planted the trees. This is about the humans who planted the trees. It's for this one. So let's move on to the next one. I've given you the answer for this one. So now is number 9 now. Number 9. Okay. So in this one, why do you think the wildlife in the wood is described as such detail? So what do you think the reason could be? They have described that, remember that is a 5 marks. So if you have a 5 marker, you have to be really careful in answering them and try to write as many lines from the poem to support your answer will give you guys more marks. So the first one is you could write about the nature. They are going on saying about the nature, the beauty, the natural, sorry, the natural beauty. So you could talk about the natural beauty in this one, the first one. And by describing the wildlife in details, the poet captures the natural beauty of the woods. So it's telling us about the natural beauty of the woods. And the second one you could write about is the contrast and absence. So what do you think was the contrast? It's the absence was obviously for the road. There was no road that was closed. And the contrast, they are also telling us the presence of animal life there and the loss and transformation caused by the closure of the roads and the consequent growth of trees. Because of their closing the road, there were more forests there and there were no road to it. It was like you could write this, and the third one you could write is the emotional and connection. The specific mentions of wildlife and the activities, like they have given a lot of information about the wildlife which were there in the forest. And this is the way they have mentioned is really good. The beauty of nature. They have given the beauty of the nature through the way they have described the animals, basically. And then the next one you could write is the poem's rhythm, the poem theme. So, what is you think is the theme of the poem? The detailed wildlife imaginary supports the poem theme of loss, the passage of time, and the transient nature of human interventions. By so you could write about all these things in this, and you could also try writing something from the poem. Like I'll just go with some of the lines you could describe in this one. You could also describe about the horses' feet. This is the only thing you could see in the woods now. You could only hear the horses' feet. You could describe that and also mention the line from where it was taken. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The poem learns on the facts that there are animals unless they are reinforcing on the trees and natural settings. They are just focusing on animals. Yeah, you're right. They're just talking about the horses' feet and things like that. They did not mention any of the things about the beauty of the nature. So they have missed the beauty of nature. They could have described more about the beauty of the nature in the forest, because if you go in the forest, it's so nice, but they were just focusing on the animals a lot than the beauty. So now we are on number Number 10 now. Explain why the words through the woods are repeated 5 times in the poem. So, why you think it's been repeated 5 times in the poem? Because if you remember that, let's see why are they repeated 5 times. So, let's go to the poem now and see. So, what are you finding now? You're finding the word through the woods. They said that it's been repeated 5 times in the poem. So, if you guys have the poem in front of you, try reading it and telling why they have through the woods 5 times. So, let's find it out now. I'll use a different one because I used. See, the first one is The Way Through the Woods. The poem name is also Through the Woods. I found first one here. Mm, That's number one. I'm just finding all of them, then we'll go through it. Through the woods here. Through the woods here. I found three. Let's see more. So let's see if we can find something on the top. So I found three, and I think so. They're mentioning through the woods, it's here. Four, and I need one more now. Here, fifth one, I got it here. Yeah, I got all of them. Okay, so let's talk about all of these. They have mentioned through the woods so many times. I know the poem is like the topic of the poem. Yeah, it is the topic of the poem, but have you seen anything which has the topic of the poem that has been repeated so many times? It's not. So basically, they are referring to through the woods so many times because they want to describe each and everything in each way they are using through the woods. So the first way they have used through the woods is this one is for the road. So this one tells you about the existence of the road that which was there and has stopped now. It's not there anymore. The road is shut. And the second thing you say that it said, so we have done here. So let's write the points now. So this is the way. Let's go. So one thing you said is very true is the name of the poem. You could say that that's why it has to be repeated so many times. Second, they are just talking about the road which is closed. So that's why they have to use it and creating rhythmic flow. They have to do rhythmic flow. What does that mean now? It means the repetition adds a rhythm quality to the poem, establish the reader through the lines. The repetition contributes the poems musically and its sonic effects. So it gives basically a sonic effects, and you could say that The repetition of through the woods echoes the passage of time. It emphasizes the changing nature. So it tells you about the changing nature, the changing nature, the changing nature of the woods and the roads, the disappearance over these years. So you could just write down, and so this is the way they have used it so many times. And now we are on the last one now. I'm just looking at some what you guys have written. Yes, you're right. That could also be one of the reasons. So let's move on to the next one. The last one is a seven marker, and you have to explain why you like or do not like the poem. Write three to five sentences. It will help to write about the images and the language of the poem. So you have to think about here. This could be what you guys could write on your own. So you have to think about what are the things you like about the poem, like you were saying before, that the poem only focuses on the animals, not so much of beauty of the nature. So this could be one of the points what you could write. Another thing is you just the poem keeps of telling you about the imaginary things. The repetition of the phrases such as through the woods adds a rhythmic quality and reinforces the themes of loss and longing. And you could also say that the way they have repeated the same thing again and again, as a reader, it could be something which could be really boring for you to read it again and again. Yeah, you could also write that. This is also good. Like through the woods, they're acting like it is a walk through the woods. So that is why the use of repetition is. And I think so. My personal opinion is they feel like they wanted the road there and the road is closed. And this is the way they are just going on writing about the road so many times in the poem that as a reader it gets really boring for us to keep reading that the road is closed, the road is closed. And they should have focused more on the nature than animals. They could have told us about the nature, like the water in the forest, like the how when it's raining, how does the forest take it, and all these things. And they just said that they don't want they were just talking about the animals and the way the animals were happy there. They didn't want anyone to be there, disturb them. And you could also support the lines from the poem for that. Like if I go back to the poem for a minute, So if you look at that, yet if you enter the woods of a summer evening late, then the night ale cools on the rockland poles. So instead of this line, they started describing, yet if you enter the woods, they started describing, and we had like a reader, we thought that they would be describing about the summer in the forest. But again, if you look at this line, they again mentioned animals there. There could have been something more than writing about animals all the time. Don't try using the word dislike. You said that I'm not in the favor of the poem. This is something you guys have to be really, really particular when you do that. Because if you say that I dislike the poem, that won't give you good marks. You would say, I am not in the favor of the poem, I am in favor. In the questions, when they're asking you, are you in the favor or you are not in the favor, these are the things you should write down. You should not write down, I dislike, I like. So try using the phrases or words like that. Because if you use it like that, you'll be getting more marks to this. So we have we have ended the comprehension now, and we'll be doing what you guys call is the maths tomorrow. I think all of you like maths. and and remember, let's see what you all saying here. Oh, you're welcome. Remember to like the video if you guys you love maths. That's good. It's going to be a winner. I think so. You are the winner today. So you are the winner today. It's Doverts is the winner because you are the one who's only answering the questions today. And nobody else is answering except you. I don't know how to spell your name. It's Dowards because you were the one who answered a lot of questions today. Remember that tomorrow we are going to do another live session, and if you have not yet bought the book, it'll be from 11 plus Help to Success book 2. You can order the book from Amazon and you can get it in Prime. It is there in the Prime, so you can order the book and get it from Prime. And if you don't want to do that, you can also upload, you can also buy the digital copy. What time will be the live session? Will be the same time tomorrow at 12. There will also be, you can also buy the digital copy from 11 plus Help to Success website. With this, I would be leaving you guys now to go and enjoy the rest of your day now, and I'll see you guys back tomorrow. Bye.